Why can't you give Elsa a balloon? Well, because she'd let it go. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my chair's not that squeaky today, relax, and have a conversation with all of you about the attitude one should have when it comes to the world of business and trading card games. You see, often, not always, but often, people who get into the business side of TCGs, they do it because they are passionate about card games in general. Either they are fans, collectors, tournament grinders, whatever have you. They have a passion and a genuine love for trading card games, and they'd want to turn that love into an income, or at the very least, if not if they aren't trying to build a business off of it, they're at least trying to finance their hobby with their hobby. That tends to be one of the major reasons people either start local game stores or just turn to selling online on platforms like eBay or TCG Player, right? But whatever the reason, why ever you might decide to go into the TCG business as a business, there is something that's very important to keep in mind basically at all times. And it's a trap, one that a lot of people fall into when it comes to this kind of business. And that is getting too invested and too emotional with what you're buying and what you're selling. And I cannot stress this enough. This really can be something that becomes a stumbling block for a lot of people. Just because when they get emotionally invested into something, they can make decisions that they wouldn't otherwise make if they were a bit more dispassionate about that something. And I want to preface what I'm about to say with, I don't mean that you should be completely impartial towards card games, collecting as a hobby, etc. It's good to be passionate about what you do, and it's very good if you can turn your passion into a business, or at the very least into a way to fund your hobby. Funding your passion with your passion is a good thing. But at the same time, getting a bit too overly emotional when it comes to the card games you buy, sell, deal with, etc., can definitely put a hamper on your success as a business, and it can lead you to making some rather foolish decisions. The biggest one I can always think of, and the biggest example that will come up all the time, is not liking a set for any card game. This is agnostic of any card game. If you don't like a set for any reason as a player or collector, you have to immediately throw that reason out the window if you are considering whether or not to buy it as a store. Because how much you like something has absolutely zero bearings whatsoever on how well that thing will do as a product. Yes, there are things that you won't like that will end up being bad products that don't sell well, they underperform, etc. But there's also going to be plenty of items in that same line of things that you don't like that will sell well, will have dedicated fans who will re-enter a TCG just to get a hold of that experience, just to get a hold of that product, right? There are going to be things that you don't like that if you are going to be in business and you're going to want to make a profit, make a living, you're going to have to consider that maybe they are a good thing to purchase just for the either opening them up to get the singles and sell those online, or have sealed product to sell in your store, or to even hold on to. There's going to be things that you may like or not like, and you have to kind of take that you have to take those emotions, that opinion you might have on an item, and just kind of throw them out. Because the moment you have an opinion on something and you let that opinion dictate a financial decision, congratulations, you've made one of the cardinal sins of business, and that is being irrational with your decisions. irrationality, making something based on an opinion or emotion, rational decisions like that are going to be the downfall of any attempt to get your business off the ground and to try to really be successful with what you're doing. And I cannot stress enough, like, this is a mistake that I have made, and I know plenty of other people have made it, where you either don't purchase something that like you've done the market research, you've talked to people who are interested in buying it, and you just chose not to grab a product because it offended you in some way, or you just didn't like any of the cards in it. It didn't look good. The packaging looked awful. For whatever reason, you just chose not to buy it. And I've made some decisions like that before, where I would choose not to buy a certain set or a certain kind of box just because it personally did not jive with me. But my opinions on that matter don't matter, and neither do yours. What matters is whether or not it is a good fundamental product that the wider player and collector base enjoys and is willing to make purchases based on. And it's not just sealed product, it's singles as well. Singles are going to come your way in collections that even if you don't like them, it doesn't matter. And the inverse is also true. Okay, there may be times where you get a bit too emotionally attached to a certain product and you don't want to sell it, even though the profits are there. Like, let's say that you bought a card. Keep in mind, when I say this, I mean that you bought a card for the business, not that you bought a card for yourself. If you buy a collection and there's some cards in there that you kind of like, and at the time you got a really good deal in the collection, 2 years later, the stuff, you forgot all about it, and it's been sitting in your back room for like a year or two, right? And it appreciates really well. So you buy this collection 2 years later, some of the cards that were in there that you kind of liked, they've skyrocketed in price for one reason or another. And you think to yourself, nah, I'm just not going to sell them. I kind of like those cards. I'm going to kind of hold on to them. Kind of liking them isn't good enough. You have to have a reason to want to keep those cards in your collection. They have to actually mean something to you for some reason or another. And I'm not saying you can't have a collection of just cards you kind of like, but I am saying if you bought those cards for your business and they go up in price, you shouldn't be asking whether or not you want to sell them at that increased price. And there's a lot of people who do that. You go online, you see all kinds of people who are like, oh, should I sell this? It's gone up so much, but I kind of like it, blah, blah, blah. If you're asking those kind of questions, I mean, I don't want to say that like you shouldn't be in business, but I will say that those are not questions that should even occur to you. If you're trying to be successful financially, you really can't get too attached to the product you're selling, because cash flow, money flow, profit, those are important things to get, and disregarding potentially very easy profit in some circumstances just because you grew an attachment to a card or a box or whatever have you, that can set you back. And yes, I know the argument, the classic argument, oh, it could continue to go up in the future. Absolutely, it could. It could also go down. This happens all the time with card games like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, where cards can go up, they can go down too, and they often do for both card games. And before you say, oh, well, what if this is Pokemon? Pokemon only ever goes up. That's not necessarily true. There's plenty of examples of Pokemon cards that do go up, yes, and there's also plenty of examples of Pokemon cards that go down. And, you can't predict the future, so you have no idea on whether or not it's going to go up or go down. So you have no idea if in the moment what you're doing is going to hurt you in the long term, just because you could have made more profits down the road. Instead, what you should look at is, in the moment, are you making good returns on what your initial investment was? You bought this box or you bought these singles. What price did you buy them at? What price are they at now? Are you making sufficient profit with it? If the answer is yes, congratulations. That should be the only thing you are considering when it comes to whether or not to sell an item, really, is, well, there's other things to consider too. I understand labor, time, etc. But honestly, how much you like that item should never be part of the equation. If you get cards you like, then that should be a part of a collection, and you should not intermingle your collection purchases with your business purchases. And I know that's a hard thing, and it's a mistake that, again, I've made that kind of mistake too, but you should not be intermingling your personal collection with your business finances and your business inventory. That should just be a thing you should be smart and avoid doing. But really, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say here is you should really try to distance all emotions, good and bad, from the business beyond your overall love of what you're buying and selling itself. Again, there's going to be sets that come along that you buy loads of just because you like it. And there's going to be sets that you avoid buying because you hate it. That's what's going to happen if you end up allowing your emotions and your opinions to dictate your financial decisions. You're not going to be thinking with your mind, you're going to be thinking with your heart. And sometimes thinking with your heart is going to do you more harm than good. Except in matters of romance, I'm sure. Someone can give me a sappy story in the comments about that. A lot of loud cars passing by tonight. A lot of loud cars. I guess they're street racing again. Oh well. But yeah, what I'm really trying to say in this video is, when you are getting into card games as a business, a side hustle, a gig, whatever have you, you're trying to make money off of your hobby and you're trying to fund your hobby with your money. You really have to take your emotions out of anything that isn't just your personal collection. Just to be clear, yes, be absolutely emotional and collect the things you buy and ignore the things you despise. But don't look potential profits in the mouth and say no thanks just because you might not like the product that profit's going to be coming from. And at the same time, don't be over eager to hold on to an item just because you like it when you know for a fact you can make some really good profits on it. That's all I'm really trying to say here. So that's really it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe. Join us over on Discord. Hop on Patreon to hear me ramble a bit more. That's really all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.